Hello and welcome back to 5 Minutes with FESPA. And today I'm delighted to be joined by another speaker from the 2026 conference. George, you are joining us on Tuesday the 13th of January. You're going to be discussing a decade in print, the industry milestones and shifts. But for those that don't know you, and a lot of people do, would you like to just introduce yourself and tell us what you do for a day job, sir?
Thank you, Chris. Of course, first of all, I'm very happy and honored to be with you today and to be part of FESPA, because actually FESPA is doing a great work and job, and we are very happy that FESPA is becoming very active in the Middle East region. It's very important for us, for our market. So my name is George Simonian. I am now the Dean of the Applied Arts Faculty at BADR University in Cairo. And I was very honored to be the Dean of Applied Arts of Helwan University before, and the Dean of the Design and Art Faculty at Ahram Canadian University.
Can you tell us a little bit about, what you think are some of the highlights of the past 10 years?
For business, even for us in education, it's becoming very challenging to talk about to the students, because they will be graduated in 2-3 years' time. They will face, of course, huge challenge with these new technologies. So this is the first thing that we have to learn from the history, and we have to be the first to apply some of the new technologies, because the people who are pioneers, they are always harnessing the best, of course, opportunities and profits from that. Of course, if we go back, not a decade only, but in the 90s, when we started to see something called computer to plate in the offset printing, to see digital printing be mature, coming in all the shops with laser electrophotographic printing, then the inkjet, and then I think in the last decade, if we'll talk about the last decade, starting from 2015, for example, in my opinion, digital printing will be the first thing, in my view, that it's growing very fast than any other technology. And of course, inkjet is becoming the dominant technology, in my opinion, even for the coming decade. Inkjet, as you know better than me, has many advantages which is not applied in other technologies. So there is no contact, there is no pressure, there is no impression. It can jet the ink from far away on any substrate, which is amazing, of course. The advance in inkjet heads, the advance of inks, the sustainability, everything, the productivity, the quality is amazing. And of course, the short turnaround jobs replaced, of course, the long offset runs in many, of course, aspects. And in many cases, we see people, they need short run, fast turnaround jobs. Another very important places, which is also concerning FESPA and the last decade and our region, is the textile, the DTG and sublimation, DTF. It's becoming everywhere. We have in all our exhibitions, people are showing the latest in this, of course, specialization. And as you know, textile industry in Egypt is very developed, and people started to use the DTG and DTF very largely in the last decade. The small commercial shops we have, they are, of course, starting to switch from 4 colors to 6 colors, 7 colors. The ECG printing is becoming a daily routine in the packaging industry. So I think digital, we cannot say it's like we were waiting for the future. It's now, we can tell it's the actual thing is digital, is the mainstream is digital. And also the functional design of everything. People are starting to give huge amount of interest for this, the functional design, very important.
Okay.
And another trend we have seen, I can tell you, was, of course, the paperboard packaging replacing some of the plastic. And many countries, they started to put restrictions on the using of plastic bags, for example.
Yeah.
And the flexible packaging was booming in the last decade, when films and foils and all this. A huge trend for us also is the embellishment, which is, we used to call it adding value to print. But now the new word, of course, as you know, is embellishment, which is very important. It's booming.
Where do you see the trends? Where do you see the region going?
The trend is that newspapers are declining, we have seen. So we have some newspapers that started to print digital copies with on-demand content, variable content to some readers. This was a very small test that some of the newspapers they did, and they proved very, very well in the results that people, especially young people, they are attracted to that. So because the young people are saying, now we have everything, we are choosing to watch the film we want at the time we want. With Netflix, for example, we are using using what we have to listen to music, to songs at when, where. So you don't let us read what you want. We want to read what we want. So this was another thing that some newspapers started regarding the newspaper industry. And also we have seen many hybrid machines coming to the region. That's another thing that people should be very, very keen about it in the next decade, because you can use the advantages of 2-3 kinds of printing, especially in the narrow web region. That's another thing, the hybrid workflows, the hybrid machines. I think that's another thing. And we have also in the region what we are calling sometimes, fashion, micro brands or small brands, the e-commerce drive. So these people are using the DTG and DTF sublimation is massively growing, massively in our region. So every person who is involved in the textile industry should look for this technology, what's going on there for short batches, personalized apparel.
Thank you so much for attending FESPA Middle East in January. And
pleasure for me and honor.